It is an honor to introduce our next speaker for today, Mr. Rohtash Mal, Chairman, Equity Grow. Mr. Mal assumed his current role a few months ago in Equity Grow, which deals with VC funding and angel investing. Prior to this, Mr. Mal was member, management board, and CEO, Agri-Machinery Group at Escorts Limited. With well over 3 decades of experience in the corporate world, Mr. Mal has traversed over 10 different sectors and industries with 4 different organizations. Prior to joining Escorts, he held several leadership positions across industries and has been CEO Agribusiness at the Bharti Airtel Group, Chief General Manager Sales and Marketing at Maruti Suzuki Limited, and Vice President at Ballarpur Industries Limited. Mr. Mal is an avid angel investor and a business mentor. In addition to his own investments, he also represents Vinod Khosla's India Impact Fund on the board of a few of their investee companies. He is also member of the Senate of Simon Business School, University of Rochester. Mr. Mal is an alumnus of Indian Institute of Management, Calcutta, and a graduate engineer from IIT Delhi. Sir, it is a pleasure to have you at Arcturus 2012. I now request Mr. Rohtash Mal to address the audience.
Good afternoon, and thank you so much for having me here. A pleasure and a delight. Before I get going, may I do a little polling? I'd like to get a sense of the audience, to calibrate what I need to say, and more importantly, what I shouldn't say. So this looks like about 300 people, right? 33% off. Students? No faculty? Okay, good, because I have a few not so nice things to say about faculty members. Amazing, Anna Hazare didn't get this kind of... All right, okay. On a more serious note, experienced students with experience say, wow, okay, and fresh. Not so nice. Okay, so it seems like an even bunch. Beyond 3 years experience? 5? 4? All right. Married with children? Not yet. Okay. The quantitative disciplines, engineers, nerds, ouch, ouch. That's bad. That's real bad. And that's coming from an engineer, right? I am unfortunately one. Okay. So faculty is missing. That's good news. Okay, just a quick sense check. I want to get a sense of your aspirations. So give me a sense of people headed for Colgate, Levers, Bankam, City. You're going to break a few hearts down in those companies. All right, that's a few honest people. Give me a sense of people, serious people headed to academics after this. Nice. Consulting, BCG, Accenture, McKinsey. Very nice. Very nice. Okay. I won't ask you for your salary expectations yet. So obviously that will be something. Okay, I have a sense of the house. And on a not so unserious note, firstly, really delighted to be here. I had this 2-minute conversation with your director a short while ago. No, a little more than 2 minutes. Your representatives have been speaking to me for a while. They sent in some material on your placement brochure, which I regrettably read only today, and read with a great degree of interest. And I do have a few things to sort of comment on that too. I'm I'm going to divide my talk into 3 or 4 parts. The first 3 parts are about what makes me glad. The next part is about what makes me sad. And the third part is what makes me mad. And, and the fourth part is what I hope to leave a few thoughts with you on. You might want to take them or not, on what I think you should be looking at in your careers going forward, and a few comments in the fifth part for your faculty, so to speak. And if since they are not here, please do carry. Oh, okay, 4, fine. I was hoping for 40. Okay. I'm happy that this gets through, because seeing at it from an industry standpoint, the products that come out of institutes like this are as important as the processes that go into them. And therefore, I think any dialogue should engage at both levels. So, to begin with the glad stuff. So, glad to be here. Glad to actually see the quality of people represented in this theater. Looking at your selection ratios, I'm not surprised. Interacting with a few of your student members just now, I'm not surprised. And with a selection ratio of 1:211, if I remember the number from your brochure, outstanding. So that's my first glad. I'm glad to be talking to an audience of this caliber. From what I can see and what I hear, I'm glad about the vigor and the vibrance there's a sense of energy about this place, and I'm sure a lot of it comes from the people populating this room. So I'm glad about that too. Seeing your brochure again, talking to your director, I'm very glad that I'm talking to an audience with the kind of intellectual horsepower that it has. Indeed, when you speak to classes of MBAs like this, and I do whenever I get the opportunity to do that, I'm glad about the fact that the breadth of awareness that audiences like that have is enormous. So it puts a kind of a performance pressure on somebody like me at this end of a microphone to talk to an audience like this. I'm glad about that. I'm glad about the fact that I see a multi-talented set. Those pie diagrams in your brochure showed me that. Oh, but everything can go into a pie diagram. But there's something that makes me mad there too. I'll get to that. On a more generic plane, I'm glad that the young people today have a conscience far more significant than my generation can claim to have. I'm reminded that I was at Ramlila Maidan a couple of months ago, Anna Hazare's last movement, and I walked from Ramlila Maidan to Parliament Street. And on the way, there was this delegation from the Faculty of Management Studies, 100 of them. There was a delegation from the IIT and the IIMs. And, I looked around and said, my God, when I was there 35 years ago, I just didn't have that kind of a conscience. And please believe me, there were causes then, and many more. Number of strikes and the number of gheraos were greater, if anything else. So I'm very glad that I'm talking to a class of human beings who are more evolved than my generation can claim to be. In fact, in a sense, I'm glad that more than ever before in the history of Indian business, we are today dealing with the raw material for making professionals of a far greater quality than ever before. And with all humility, you should accept the fact that it is so, but that also places an even greater responsibility on your young shoulders to carry that with elan, to carry that with grace, and to carry that with fortitude. So these are a lot of things that make me seriously glad to be where I am, talking to MBA students, talking to future leaders of, if I were to put it narrowly, business, but I think we're talking to future leaders of society. And I hope many more engineers, MBAs, and so-called accelerated, educated people actually head off beyond business into governing our nation. Because unfortunately, you cannot have a talented, value-creating society being governed by a not-so-value-creating... I mean, Arnab Goswami is testimony every night to what kind of quality we are governed by. No, I'm not talking about Arnab Goswami. I love it. But the fact is that I'm glad that somebody like that is carrying the baton, but I'm very sad at the quality of what he has to deal with. So, in a sense, I'm delighted that I'm dealing with an audience with the future and the audience which will create the future. Now, to narrow it down to what makes me sad, I do need to put a big disclaimer, okay? So this visit to the Sahyadri Hills is my first one. So any political statements I may end up making, I'd like to be excused right in the beginning. My general sense of what I'm about to say emanates from being on the other side of the hiring table, of being an MBA in the first place, getting up to whatever levels I did when I started hiring people and started visiting institutes. What I pick up from both my left brain and my right brain, and I would like to replay that to you. And I would hope that you pick up your own lessons from there. But the disclaimer is that I'm not talking about SIBM. I mean, I still have a night to sleep here, and a dinner and a breakfast to go. So I'm merely ensuring all three. The first thing that makes me sad about this community of MBAs is, why are you headed to being an MBA? I personally believe that it's a bit of a race, and this race is actually creating a very dangerous situation. I see young people who are headed exactly in the same way that my generation did. For example, I don't know why I went to the IIT. If I were to be redoing my life, I would never go there, right? Why do you want to go to an MBA? Why do so many thousands and lakhs of people? Do you know that we produce 800,000 MBAs a year as a country? Do you need so many MBAs? Do you need 13 Indian institutes of management, and take away the top 3 or 4, and in fact some in the top 4 itself, which are defunct? They're not doing what they ought to be doing. I mean, it's the new age institutes like SIBM that are actually not inching up, but racing up. Having said that, one of the things that makes me sad is, why an MBA? Has somebody sat down and figured out what I want to do before I decide to go and do an MBA? So the reason I say it is, when I get candidates and when I get people joining organizations like mine, I often wonder, why did this guy waste 2 or 3 years of his life? Why didn't he do something? Why did he go paint? Why didn't he go make a movie? He's far better at that than he ever will be here. This guy is a square peg in a round hole. And I'm at the end of my talk, I'm going to leave a thought with you as to what needs to be done about this. But nevertheless, this is something that makes me sad. And I know I'm in Maharashtra, but if I was in Bihar, I would seriously wonder that so many people doing MBAs, and no offense to Biharis or people from Bihar, but if so many people do MBAs, the story must be a dowry somewhere. or something like that. Because I'm told that when guys want to go do the IAS, it's not about serving the country. Okay, so that is the first thing about young MBAs that makes me sad. The second thing that makes me sad is these guys and beyond are in a dratted hurry. At 25, the guy wants to be a CEO of a mega corp of 10,000 crores by 35. And I don't like it, because you know what he's saying? I want to replace you. I kind of feel threatened by that. And not only me, he wants to replace an entire generation. And what he's saying also is that what we may have collected in the last 30, 35 years of our life actually became meaningless. And it doesn't, because you can pick up the skills, read books, read notes, and read a lot of YouTube, see a lot of YouTubes and management journals, and you'll be equipped in letter, but certainly not in spirit. So the point I'm making is pacing a career. I don't think this guy is pacing his career. He's too much in a hurry. And what will happen is when you try growing a plant, beyond fertilizing it and irrigating it, try growing a plant by yanking it up. It's about not going to happen, and it will get uprooted. So there is a balance between good nutrition-led growth of professionals and them being yanked from the top. You're not going to get a plant growing like this. Yeah, you put a little weight on it, a little pull, and that is what aspirations are all about. You do manage to direct plants and make them grow, and that's nature, and there are some lessons there for us. The third thing that makes me sad is organic growth, or its lack.